So I officially have two cameras, and I'm gonna show you the setup I have outside. I'm actually outside my house, and obviously you're gonna hear some background noise. You're gonna hear some of the crickets. That's actually great. For the record, today's December 29th, 2018, and the temperature must be in the low 70s, high 60s. I'm wearing a t-shirt. It's an absolutely amazing, beautiful day, and I love to live in South Florida. So I just want to throw that in there, just maybe make some people envious while we're doing this. So this is what my dual camera setup is now, and this right here is my Canon 80D, and obviously there's a lot of light coming from up here. And this right here is my Panasonic G85. Up here is my Rode Video Mic Pro, which is the one that's going to be capturing audio. So for this recording, I'm going to record video from both cameras, but I'm going to record capture only from one camera. And then I have the light up here just so I can get a nice crisp look for me. And take a look at the screen there. So I want to just make sure I have a sort of a nice crisp look with the light, and it's going to look nice. You're going to see the footage. I'm going to compare the two, and I'm also going to kind of discuss, you're going to understand why I have two cameras. Okay, so I officially own two cameras, as I alluded to earlier. We have the Canon 80D, which I'm focused on right now, and then we're going to move over to the Panasonic G85. The Canon 80D, it's about $1,200 as of today. Today is December 29th, 2017. Anyway, so the Canon 80D, it's about $1,200 with the kit lens. The Panasonic G85 is about $900 with the kit lens, and the kit lens is the lens that comes with the package. Right now, just to give you an idea, more or less, this is an 18 to 55 millimeter lens. It's all the way zoomed out. If I zoom in, and I'm basically an arm's length away, if I zoom in with a Canon, just to give you an idea, I'm gonna go all the way to 55, and that's at 55 millimeters, and I'm standing exactly a arm's length away. So I'll give you an idea what the range is. That's with the kit lens, 55 millimeters, zoomed out all the way to 18 millimeters. Now let's switch to the Canon G85. I'm about the same, about arm's length away, and I'm at 12 millimeters right now. The lens is at the zoomed out capacity. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom it all the way into 60 millimeters, and this zoom in should be a lot more. With the Panasonic, let's just compare again with the Canon. Oh, they're very similar. The Panasonic is a little bit more zoomed in because obviously it's 55 millimeters versus 60 millimeters, but also it's not just the extra 5 millimeters, it's that the Panasonic is a mirrorless camera, also known as a micro four thirds camera. So the crop sensor is a little bit smaller, and the zoom factor feels a little bit higher as the Canon camera, which is not a full frame, but it does have a smaller crop factor. So there's about a 20% difference even at the exact same settings, where the micro four thirds camera or the Panasonic G85 will feel like it's a little bit more zoomed in. The lens itself zooms in a little bit more. So let me zoom these two out. Okay, and notice how the autofocus works. The autofocus just basically focuses itself. Let's go to the Panasonic, see how this autofocus works. I think that's pretty decent. And I'm going to step out for a second because I'm going to test something called 4K cropping. Right now the Canon 80D is recording at 1080 HD full resolution, and this video, it's being output or it's being rendered at 1080 HD. Now the Panasonic G85 is recording at 4K, which is double the resolution of a 1080 HD. This video is output or rendered at 1080 HD anyway, so you don't get the full 4K resolution. But let me show you. I'm gonna zoom in. I'm basically zoomed in right now using the Panasonic that was originally 4K. Now I'm zoomed in to double the size at effectively 1080 HD, and you should see no change in resolution. And I'm not zooming in with a lens or anything. I'm zooming in by cropping, or let's call it stretching, the image itself in the video editing software. Whereas if I go to the Canon 80D, which is natively 1080 high resolution, not a 4K, if I go crop it right now and I zoom in, it should feel a little bit grainier. Now the light was hitting me more straight on the Canon, so we may have just a better light overall on the Canon. That's why the zoom in may not feel as bad. But let me go ahead and make the light a little bit brighter. And I'm gonna go ahead and make the light a little bit brighter. And this is more for getting better crop resolution. That's way too bright. Let me bring this up. It's a little bit intense. There you go. So I'm doing this so I can get a little bit better light, mostly for the purposes of doing a crop in. And what's nice is you can zoom in maybe a little bit to the right, right, so it looks like it's a camera angle in itself. And I can simply just shift a little bit like this. And then I can also zoom in again with the Panasonic that's going from 4K to 1080, and it feels like an entirely different camera angle. So I'm going to try this one more time with the light diffuser, because the light may have been a little bit too much. So let's try this. Okay. Okay, let's try this one more time. I'm on the Panasonic G85, filming at 4K, and then zooming in, so it feels like an entirely different camera angle. I'm gonna move a little bit myself, and then I'm gonna zoom in one more time. Again, this gives you the effect that you are working with multiple camera angles, even though I actually happen to be working with two different cameras. Let me show you. So I'm gonna work just straight multiple camera angles without zooming in. I'm on the Canon 80D right now talking. I'm sort of in the middle of the camera now, and then I want to switch over to the Panasonic G85, but I'm still going to look at the Canon, so it still looks like just like an entirely different camera angle. So I'm just kind of telling you that there is some advantages of having two entirely different cameras, and we can even do more things like truly expanding the multiple camera angles. So I'm going to grab one of my cameras here. Let me just get that right out. Okay, so I'm going to clip this somewhere else. I'm going to find a table or something to clip it in, so that we can see what the multiple camera angle would look like. So hang on a second. We are going to So let me show you what this setup looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture so you can get an idea what it looks like. Okay, so there it is. You're gonna see the Canon 80D on the left side, which is still on the tripod, and then we have the Panasonic, which is here on this side. But I'm not gonna look at the camera because I want to treat it truly as a separate camera angle camera. So you know, I'll discuss some of the topics that I want to discuss. I'll talk straight into the camera over here at the Canon 80D, and then I'll switch over to the Panasonic so you see the second camera angle. So that's really the reason why. And I'm also doing this at night, and I'm doing this with low light, so it helps me also kind of test out what this low light situations look like. So hopefully you like this video, you like, you know, how I played around with the different cameras and the lights and the different camera angles, and hopefully you get something nice out of it.